Hello and welcome to DarkMouse's Daily Scroll with me, DarkMouse.
And me, Theft.
So we've jumped straight into a quick match here and I am using my Decay deck again. I've decided to name it the Decaying Souls. Yeah, since my energy deck has a name and my Decay deck may as well.
Makes sense.
They'll all have names.
It's somewhat surreal jumping straight into this match, only having two of us on the recording today.
Yeah, that is interesting.
The past 2 weeks we've had other people flooding the DarkMouse's, and now it's just back to the two of us and Anaconda.
It's relatively quiet. It's weird not having Cassius and other such people around.
Kind of surreal actually. But yeah, so there's a Gravelock out already.
Indeed, we are playing against Raynick, I think.
Yep, I think so.
Raynick, cool, and they look to be energy, so let's hope that it's not a Gravelock deck, because those things are nasty. I haven't actually seen any Gravelock decks. I know I bitched about not having seen any bunny decks a while back, and as a result I then found the bunny deck to play against, and it was kind of cool. But there's not that many people actually play a proper Gravelock deck, particularly not now that there's Decay Gravelocks as well.
Do you think that that's because they're hard to use, or people just haven't taken to them yet? Or?
It might be that people haven't quite taken to them. I mean, I personally don't find the Gravelocks... Well, I haven't tried my Gravelock deck yet. I won't be able to for a little while longer, but we'll get to that when it comes to it. But, see, they're one resource each to play them. Which, well, that's for the Gravelock Raiders. And they're not too bad. They're relentless with 1-2. And if you can get 3 Gravelock Elders on the battlefield, then that gives them +1/+1. That gives each other Gravelock +1/+1 for each Gravelock Elder you control. Couple that with a Grave Hawk on the battlefield, which isn't in itself a Gravelock, but it benefits from the bonuses that Gravelocks get. So for every Gravelock you're on the battlefield, your Grave Hawk will get +1/+1. Which, if you have up to 6 Gravelocks on the field, you're getting more in the way of power from the Gravehawk. Gravehawks aren't relentless, I don't think, but if you're playing a mix of energy, growth and decay, stick some Machination Mindsets in there. Make it relentless. There's really no reason not to.
That could get very nasty very quickly.
Oh hell yeah, that's what I'm looking for in my Gravelock deck. But it's just finding the balance, because there are no Decay Memorials. There's only a couple of cards that you can use to increase your Decay, your Order, your Energy, or your Growth, depending on what you're doing. And those, I think, you have to fulfill certain conditions for it. Now, I know at the beginning of this game, if you're paying attention to the chat, there's a bit of confusion whether or not we were actually allowed to record this game. I'm very glad that we actually managed to record this game and, got the go-ahead through from Raynick. I'm quite pleased about that, because this is shaping up to be a brilliant game. A quick starting energy deck is not one that you usually see a lot, and they can be quite powerful.
I was going to say, he's built up a decent force very quickly there.
Oh yes, and we're only on like round 2 or 3.
Round 3 it says there on the counter.
Yep, it's brilliant. And that means my Maya Shambler is probably dead.
Yeah, Slendy's going to buy it now.
Oh, I like that one as well. The Maya Shambler's cool. It does a good 3 damage for a 1 resource creature. Only got 1 health though. But it does move every time it attacks, which is brilliant. So we get rid of the Curse Monger, not Course Monger. Pillars of Disease are brilliant, because you can reduce your opponent's attack to 0, and they can do just that to a attack of 1 creature. It's brilliant. Now the Copper Automatons are going to go off and do some damage to my idols, but early game damage isn't much of an issue. It's a bonus, but it's not a problem if you can deal with it appropriately. This is quite the quick starting deck.
Yeah, it's impressive. So that goes to show that any deck in Scrolls can theoretically quick start if you put the right cards in it.
Yes, as long as you've got the as long as you can, late game survive long enough to do some damage, you should be good.
Yeah.
Now, I've actually, at this juncture, really effectively stopped them from killing off my Ilmaya Rot Eater anytime soon. Because if they move the Gravelocks... never mind.
Oh.
I was going to say if they move the Gravelocks onto the same row, they'll have an attack of 0, and then they use Tick Bomb.
Yep. Your own trick's being used against you here.
Yeah, I know. It's a case of, oh look, I'm playing as an energy player. What would I do in this situation?
Yeah.
The brilliant thing is you can do with rot eaters is put them adjacent to each other. So if one dies, the other one gets boosted.
They buff each other, yeah.
It's brilliant.
And with those tentacles, buffing is something of a concern.
Oh dear. Catapults of goo.
Messy.
They can really ruin anyone's day. Now I've stopped using them because every time I use them they'll get destroyed ridiculously quickly. And I never seem to be able to do the same to my opponents. Unless I have incendiaries followed by a tick bomb or something, or 2 lots of incendiaries. It takes me a little while to kill them off. Now here's something interesting. It's just moving my entire battle line. I think it's maybe most of my battle line backwards. Just to try and get the Ilmai rot eaters out of the way, but keep the husk in the way. Because if I can keep the husk in the way, then when it dies, the other rot eaters go, oh look, I'm 4-4 now. Wasn't that silly?
That would hurt. And you've got a bit root out?
Yep, indeed, the Bitroot is out. Which means if that Gravelock attacks it, then it will be poisoned. Which will be brilliant. Oh dear, there's a Destroyer. That's bad.
Yeah.
Because those guys will go off every single turn and they do 2 damage.
Jeez.
So when I turn this turn over, I'm going to lose my stuff. Unless I can get rid of that Destroyer. Which is not going to be nice. The thing is, the structures energy are really quite important. I don't tend to use them myself, but once I get a couple more Metal Wonders, that will change. Just 2 more Metal Wonders, and I will be able to make a hopefully viable, fully structured deck.
That remains to be seen, but I look forward to seeing what happens.
Yeah, so do I. The only creatures in it will be 2 humans. The Tool Initiate, who I will use to buff the strength of my lobbers and stuff, and the Machine Priest, who will be used to heal my structures. Whether or not I can pull this off is a completely different matter, but since I only have 1 Metal Wonder right now, it doesn't make much of a difference. At this point, I am going to say goodbye to a lot of my stuff.
Ow.
Oh, never mind. Oops.
He's saying goodbye to a lot of his stuff.
Yeah, Golem Skin is brilliant because it adds attack and health equal to the amount of structures you control. The downside is you sacrifice those structures. Which, yeah, that kind of... it screws you over if that could have done a lot of damage to your opponent. But it wasn't too bad. He now has a Scattergunner with a strength of 5.
Ow.
Well, a strength of 7 and a toughness of 5. Able to take out quite a lot of stuff. It's a very, very interesting play. I was expecting him to just total most of my force right there.
Jeez.
But in a couple of turns, all he's got to do now is be able to put Concentrated Fire on him, and that guy can wipe out 2 things in a row at least.
Mm-hmm.
And hell, put Concentrated Fire twice on him, and he'll fire 3 times.
Ow.
That's a brilliant discovery made by Cassius when we were playing a game at one point. And I was wondering, what would happen if you put Concentrated Fire on the same thing twice? It's 8 resources for it, and he was like, well, surely it would just fire an extra time. I was like, yeah, it theoretically should do, but can you do it?
Yeah.
So he tried it, and it worked.
Remember this, the dirty bastard that used to use Blade Storm to incredible effect with Dire Avengers on the field.
Oh, hell yes. Jeez. And now Blade Storm's been changed, so that any 6s, when you roll to hit, any 6s you roll to hit.
Precision shots and rending.
Jeez.
A little bit of 40k in there for you.
Yeah, for those of you who didn't quite know what we meant. There's a little bit of shuffling here because I want to get rid of that goddamn catapult of goo. They're really annoying, and if you can buff their attack up as well, they can do a lot of damage in a good area. And those things they don't kill, they will just increase the countdown of. Ah, here we go. Here's my favourite play. Attack the idol.
Yum.
And the Scattergunner now has a choice. He can do damage to the idol up top, he can take out the Bitroot, or he can kill the Loyal Darkling. He's a tip.
Darkling.
Yeah, he's a tip. Don't kill the Loyal Darkling. Does 2 damage to your idols.
Ow.
Yep. And it's only a 2 resource creature as well.
Jeez. Is that to each idol that's been damaged, or...?
No, just the one on the same row as it.
Ah, fair enough.
But you can, when its countdown hits 0, you can either have it attack, or, by not doing anything else, or you can have it sacrifice itself, in which case it will do 2 damage to the idol on that row.
Jeez.
Which is quite nice. But, I quite often don't sacrifice it unless it's a game-winning move. Where you can play it down, have it count down at 0, or you can have it count down at 0, move it to the point where you cross from an idol that's got 2 health left, but your opponent has put some staggering things on there, at which point you sack it and win the game.
Nice.
I think I've managed to do that once. But generally, other than that, I just let it attack. It's only 1 damage, but hell, it's 1 damage extra, right? Wow. Yep, that's quite the buffed up creatures now. Because when the Loyal Darkling died as well, it buffed up the Ilmire Rot Eater. And then when the Undead Husk died, it buffed up the Ilmire Rot Eater further. So I have 1 on 4/4 and 1 on 5/5.
Nice.
So now I think we're going to curse that guy. Because I want him dead. A Scattergunner able to do 7 damage is scary. Really scary. Now that's the upside, that's the other side of a structure deck, is if you fill it with just tons and tons and tons of structures, and then you play down, kind of like a weak, cheap creature, like a Dust Runner, say,
Yeah.
for one resource, and then you put Golem Skin on it, followed up with a Playtech and a Potion of Resistance. Now, if you've managed to get a lot of structures out, hell, just fill it with Prox Mines if you need to. You can get all those out quick enough. Then you'll build up his attack and defense to ridiculously high amounts. At which point you put plating on him so they can't just, do a ridiculous amount of damage to him all at once and kill him.
Yeah.
And then a Potion of Resistance.
Jeez.
Now it doesn't stop people doing things like Damning Curse, which is for decay, to remove a creature from, or a unit from your opponent's side of the board, and it does 1 damage to each of your creatures. And it doesn't negate things like Violent Dispersal.
Yeah.
But it does do incredible amounts of damage otherwise.
That is always the risk, though, when you build a creature up heavily, is that someone will just use something like Violent Dispersal and boom.
Yeah. I tend to like leaving it just for that particular reason. And here come the Searing Shackles. I love Searing Shackles. Because now if he moves that Scattergunner, it's dead. And that's an idol for me. Nom.
Yum.
And that's a dead Scattergunner.
I was going to say, I've seen enough hentai to know what happened to that idol.
Well. Oh dear. So yeah, it kind of looks like I've juggernauted with Decay basically. I've pulled off my usual energy tactic and have juggernauted.
It's doable if you've got large, heavy-hitting units out, which you have in this case.
Oh hell yes. And now here's the result of the Ether Pump as well, because now I can move the Loyal Darkling down in my next go and just sack it. And that'll deal 2 damage to the idol and kill the idol. That's the thing, against Decay, you can't really resort to just turtling and thinking that you'll save yourself.
Yeah.
Because things like Searing Shackles, things like the Totem of Suffering, things like the Loyal Darkling will do direct damage to idols. I mean, you've just seen there, Searing Shackles is brilliant for killing off small creatures as well. And now I'm starting to roll up my creatures a little bit, and I'm afraid my opponent just is kind of not liking it, really. I mean, I wouldn't either in those circumstances. So I had to play down the Cursemonger, and I've sort of just juggernauted up on 3 idols, and there's his second dead. And because the Loyal Darkling sacrificed itself, that's an Ilmire Rot Eater on 6, and that's GG.
Yeah.
Because that's on a 3rd dead idol. So Rennick, that was a really brilliant game.
Yeah.
Better luck next time with the draws and stuff. I had a particularly good set of draws. You had really good early game draws, and you capitalised on those very well. Late game, your draws weren't so good apparently. But that's the way the game goes. That's the randomised chance of it.
Yeah. Let's see what you got then.
Indeed. So, what do I get?
So, some energy scrolls.
Indeed. Now the format, the way this is going to take it is I'm going to get 1 scroll and save the rest of my money up to get a random pack at some point, just so we can get more scrolls at once to get close to my quad deck. Now, that's going to be the format for the moment. Now, that's all we've got time for today, I'm afraid. Thank you for watching. Please leave a like, favourite and subscribe to support the channel and the series. and I'll catch you next time, guys.
See you in the next one, guys. Bye!